really deflating to see some dumb bimbo that's 22 years old, just dumb as a box of rocks on some stupid podcast talking
Doing
about how she
nothing
made,
for the world.
yeah, not providing any service to anything but herself. And perverts making $400,000 a month and saying it's not that much. I could live off of that for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So, it really boils down to it. I mean,
So I've got a few questions here for you today.
Hello, Governor.
Yes, the baby's sleeping again. And no, we're not chugging things this time. So I've got some questions. And I want your truthful answers, okay?
so I'm not kissing your ass then.
No, you're not kissing my ass. You can lick it though.
Oh my gosh. Rated G, lady.
Alright. My first question here. I mean, we've talked about it a couple of times, but I want like your truthful answer for the other peeps out there that might be feeling the same way as you. How do you feel about working your ass off day in and day out, and then watching something like the Whatever podcast and finding out that girls sell their buttholes online for more than you make?
I mean, supply and demand. Seize the opportunity, but I think society's pretty backwards. It explains just how far our society has fallen. That we prioritize money, sex, and drugs and partying over real life. I mean, those are all things that could be addictive and used as crutches to escape real life. And those who face life head on, work their asses off, and provide for a family and do things the moral, realistic, positive impact on their life way. And I get it, whatever. There's no value anymore to women, sex.
Right.
There's no value to anything anymore. Connection doesn't mean shit. And all these women want to be boss ladies and this and all that, all that garbage.
I mean, how do you feel about the whole, I guess, really the money aspect of it? I mean, how does that make you feel?
No, it's garbage. I mean, you got my little brother.
Yeah.
Working 7 days a week, making good money, but nothing compared to what some chick can take pictures of her feet by random shit in her neighborhood and make just as much per month as he is.
Yeah, if not more.
If not more, I mean, what is there to think about it? Is it like deflating? Yeah. It's really deflating to see some dumb bimbo that's 22 years old, just dumb as a box of rocks on some stupid podcast talking
Doing
about how she
nothing
made,
for the world.
yeah, not providing any service to anything but herself. And perverts making $400,000 a month and saying it's not that much. I could live off of that for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So, it really boils down to it. I mean, how do I feel about the money aspect of it, or how do I feel about what society has become and The great U.S. of A.
The great.
That's what it used to be once upon a time.
Yeah.
It used to be something. Or at least a great idea. Seems like it never came into fruition. And here we are. And honest living is a hard one. It's a poor one. It's a struggle.
Right. Like we always talk about it, how it seems like you could better be a piece of shit rather than being a good person, and you'll get farther in this world. If you're a
Yeah.
better person, you struggle more.
Well, I think that it has everything to do with how much of yourself are you willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, that too.
Nowadays, it's all about sacrificing parts of yourself, your privacy, your intimacy, things like that. People pay for it. People love to know that crap for no reason. If you're YouTube famous or social media famous, everybody wants to know everything about you. Age, height, weight, you got a boyfriend, what color's your butthole?
Do you bleach it?
Yeah.
Do you shave it?
How long is your vulva?
Do you have a lava vagina?
Does it look like you got lava butt?
It's just wild that there aren't a lot of men, even like literally what we were talking about earlier too.
Pause. There's not a lot of men.
Yeah, that too.
Like the whatever podcast or all these other speakers with the girl pants and they're telling everybody how to live their life and not live in the same way. It's like the age old do as I say and not as I do bullshit. Sit there and you tell people that we don't value the traditional family structure anymore and blah blah blah. But you don't fucking abide by it either. So what is the point? It's all just cash grab. Who's gonna pay them to come speak? Who's gonna follow their bullshit and buy their crap? When they're running around like whores and they all claim they're fucking alpha males and shit. It's all the same old shit. They all think they're fucking man's, like bringing women onto their show just to sit there and complain about how they don't get a fair shake because they're not the top 1% of men. Women crave success. Women crave stature. You have none because you're fucking nothing. Boo hoo. Stay in your fucking lane. You're not gonna see me going to fucking LA and trying to hook up with some boss bitch fucking
Instagram model.
For one, I'm not interested, and for two, that's not my way.
No.
They're not gonna look at my hillbilly ass and be like, oh my gosh, and then I'm not gonna start a podcast to go, you never give me a fair shake. They bring on the sluttiest of sluts, like 2% of the women population, that are just absolute mongrels. they're
just disgusting.
They're just not traditional in any sense, and there's always been wild ass chicks out there like that, just like there's always been wild ass dudes. So they bring these extreme versions of promiscuous women, or whatever you want to call it, and just try to beat on them.
Mm-hmm.
And get all offended when the women don't want to answer their questions, or get all butthurt because the woman says something that offends them, and then they sit there and act like they're some type of man, when a man wouldn't be talking to women like that.
No.
A man wouldn't be trying to parade his fucking traditional standard or his high morality to people to belittle them, to make them feel like shit. So that's what I think about those stupid podcasts and all that fucking garbage. And all these guys, it just kind of seems like all these people just came out after Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson. Love Jordan Peterson. Talks about so much real stuff that actually matters. Things about the men, like a man, that matter, that people overlook, that people don't understand. you know, the vulnerability or the trials, the things that men come across that other people don't, or not necessarily that they don't, but that they don't understand.
You know what is funny to me is that no one talks about Jake Woodard on anything. And he's like one of the most like.
Well, I think that he's kind of on a different spectrum.
Well, yeah, he's more on a
like,
spiritual.
So what you have is you have all the podcasts that like what you're talking about. We don't have to name them, but you know these people that bring these girls on, and they're all just fuckboys or wannabe fuckboys, guys that think they should be hot shit that aren't.
Yeah.
And they're mad that the hot shit girls don't want nothing to fucking deal with them. And they sit there and they bitch and they bitch and they bitch. Yes, obviously, the society has a huge flaw in it now, especially on a moral standpoint. And like, you know, you're putting yourself into like a clique, a genre of people, and then bitching about the type of people they are. Because you don't see them going to the small towns, the country girls,
Yeah.
and you know, being around women that were raised traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
They're being around LA.
They literally
city,
find like the most famous people on Instagram or TikTok. Or,
yeah, it's like, hey, you make $8 billion a year, $8 million a year. Why do you take pictures of your pussy? Do you think people are like men are going to want to marry you?
Shame them for it.
You think men are going to want to marry you for that?
They've obviously chosen this path.
Well, it's like, what does she need to be married to a man for now?
If she can make
She's
all that
fucking
for
rich.
herself, yes.
So boo-hoo. You don't get a shot at her. Pay for her OnlyFans and beat off again, you fucking faggot. Like, what the fuck? Like, get the fuck over it.
Right.
Like, you just sit here crybabying about how women are unfair to men or blah, blah, blah. But you're not even hitting the nail on the freaking head. The problem is that men aren't fucking men anymore. Men aren't men. Why? Because nobody is going to sit here and convince me that these little girl pants wearing ass motherfuckers. Where were we at?
Never done a hard day's fucking work.
Oh, you're not going to convince me that these little sissy ass dudes or these freaking girl pants wearing guys, they're more worried about how their hair looks that day. They've never put in an actual hard day's freaking work. Building something, creating something, benefiting society. You know what I mean? Man, I forgot where I was going with this. But you can't tell me that they are how are they the standard of men? Mm-hmm. And how the fuck do they think that they are men? You know what I mean? Like, how do they think that they're fucking men? I'd like to see even TJ, my buddy TJ.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one of these guys walk up to him and try to alpha that big O son of a bitch. That guy that puts his ass into the fucking ground, hard work for what he freaking wants.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not always the right choices, you know, but he's a traditional man.
Yes.
He is a very traditional man. And he's not someone that's super into conflict or anything like that. But you have one of these nerdy little podcast dudes walk up to him and try to tell him he's not a man, or tell him, like, just get in his face, and he's going to out-alpha the fuck out of him. And they'd better hope that his Neanderthal nature doesn't kick in, and he doesn't grab him by the little fucking scrawny ass necks, slam him through a couple fucking windows. Because there's real people out there, real men are out there. And that's what people don't understand. People think being a man is having money. Dressing nice, having money, being successful. And, you know, protection. You know, they talk about protection, and it's like, okay, are you going to protect her from me? If I walked up to you and I was going to beat your fucking ass and I was going to fuck your woman, would you protect her? That's the thing. You know what I'm capable of. How many men can protect?
That's just for me to think about, because, like, you're just a fucking animal.
But that's the thing, though.
Like, that look you get in your eyes.
Yeah, a real man.
Like, no one's gonna fucking... Well,
it's just like Jordan Peterson says. Men should be monsters. Because a real man is a fucking monster, and he's peaceful, not harmless. He's peaceful because he's capable of great fucking violence. Because protection requires great violence. Your money's not going to save somebody. If some thug how do you even say it? Gangbanger, thug, whatever, some just psychopath walks into your freaking house, you're going to throw $100 bills at him?
Please go away.
My money will save me. And then he shoots your fucking wife in the face?
Like, I'll buy that gun from you. If
The
you
movie
don't
Law
shoot
Abiding
me.
Citizen.
Yeah.
There's one for you. Opens the door, thinking it's his pizza delivery guy. Gets stabbed, his wife gets stabbed and raped right next to him, and then they take his daughter. Does that make him not able to protect? No. Should have been smarter, maybe. But the fact is that is the type of shit that is out there. When women want security and they want protection, they don't just think about money in a big house, because money's not going to fucking save you. Money's not going to save anything. Women want a man that they know that if something fucking happens.
What is that quote from Wonderlust? Money buys nothing.
Yeah, money buys nothing.
It's like
Except for most things.
It's a stupid quote,
nothing.
but it actually kind of makes sense at the same time, but not really.
I think what it boils down to is, whatever. The gist of it all, in my opinion on it, is that you got a bunch of crybabies that are upset because the hot chicks don't want nothing to do with them. Because the hot chicks that have their own money want hot dudes with lots of money.
Yeah.
And then you obviously have the ignorant women that think they're hot shit, don't have 2 fucking pennies to scrape together, and think that they deserve a man that's made millions for himself. And that's just none of them are true. None of that is a fact, or right, or true, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, none of it is legitimate. The only true facts we have is that women crave certain things and men crave certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not blanketed like they try to put it. It's not like all women want the same thing and all men want the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you not a single one of them little fairy boys on those podcasts even remotely have the same. I highly doubt they value the same things that a woman that I do.
Yeah, the way those guys remind me of is like
They're like
they want to be called king, and they'll punch holes through the walls whenever you piss them off because they have no
okay, you got to understand the Andrew Tate thing kind of freaking fired that up. You know what I mean? You got Andrew Tate who has a particular view on things, and I like a lot of it. I really do.
Yeah, no.
But the dude,
they have good points sometimes.
But that's the thing though, is Andrew Tate has earned his arrogance.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate has earned his fucking arrogance. Not only is he capable of breaking your fucking face.
Yeah.
Not only is he capable of extreme violence, being a man, he's also very fucking successful.
Mm-hmm.
And he does whatever the fuck he wants. He's earned arrogance. But the thing is it seems like from a lot of the stuff that I've seen that he's a pretty modest, like not necessarily modest, but he's very giving. He seems like a very genuine person, and he's very kind, and he wants to do things for other people. Whereas all these guys want to do is bitch and moan about women. Like, how is acting like women, starting a goddamn book club to bitch about women, to women's faces, how is that being a man? You know, you get these guys on there that claim they're like virtuous, they're religious, they're true, and I'm sure they are, but they're still acting like teenage women, teenage girls, full of hormones and all pissy, trying to diss on, and they say they're just having conversation or whatever, but it's never that. It's like, here's my views, you don't like them, I don't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're just trying to get rise out of these women. They're trying to, they're trying to just throw it in their faces. You know what I mean? And I mean, honestly, I couldn't even imagine, unless it was like you or like my little sister or my daughter or something where I had to sit down and actually have a conversation like, hey, you're being a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I could never fucking imagine speaking the way that these men speak to women. And I get it, these women are not women, and they're not, okay, that's not the right word. They're not traditional women. They're more independent and, as these guys would say, masculine traits. But I mean, they look pretty feminine to me. They just know how to use their femininity to make money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, bitch about equality, but if I could take a
They
picture
got
of my
that-
asshole and make millions of dollars a fucking year, I might do it.
They got that Jezebel spirit running rampant.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I guess
but
you do. I mean,
at the
supply
same
and
time,
supply and demand.
exactly. The men did it.
I mean, the men we're paying for it.
Yeah.
We're the ones going
It
out
wouldn't
there.
be a problem if men didn't want that and didn't pay for it in
and
the
you
first
know,
place.
yeah, a lot of it too is that, you know, you get these girls flaunting all their shit on social media. Even the even the most virtuous of men, the most genuine of men, are going to be like, eventually they're going to be like, fuck it, there's only $7.
Yeah.
See what her titties
Well, and a
look
lot
like.
of times you don't even have to buy it anymore because they're just posting like pictures on their Instagrams with their freaking badges almost hanging out, to where you can just scroll through their Instagram no problem and see.
Well, I mean, you
there's
can fucking
no imagination left.
yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. That's the takeover right there. That's the downfall.
I mean, and you went through that too. Whenever.
Yeah, no,
long
for
time
sure.
ago.
Yeah, I mean,
With the whole Instagram and
yeah, just you get stuck in it.
And
You see all
butt
these
in your
hot
face
chicks all over the time, and you just think that the grass is greener on the other side. I mean, shit, honestly. But the biggest thing for me is I never once. It was almost like they weren't even real people to me. It's like porn stars, so like they don't actually exist. I used to watch a ton of and it was, they weren't. I mean, they're real people, but they weren't real people to me.
Yeah.
It's not like I was like, oh man, I wish I could meet this chick. And then even if I did, I'd probably be like, ooh.
Ooh,
I've
seen you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, most people, after watching, we're gonna call it paid programming.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, watching paid actresses on paid programming. Yeah, I mean, you just get really, honestly, it's just kind of, you get sucked into it because you're like, oh man, you know, like I wish, not necessarily you wish, but it's just like you imagine life like that, you know what I mean? Or life with these types of women around, and you know, you think everything's a highlight reel on social media, and they just act like,
right, they almost make it seem like that's their whole life, and
their whole life is just blissful partying and booty pics. I mean, and some of them it is.
Right, some people actually live like that.
Yeah. Obviously, we're getting a little off topic here.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of it. My opinion is you got a bunch of safe space, even though they don't think they are. They think they're fucking alpha males, but you got a bunch of safe space crybaby dudes that think that they are entitled to women's fucking time or a shot at women that aren't fucking interested. Just because, oh, how dare she want a man that's rich? Well, whatever, fuck it. That's how society has trained them. They're not worth your time. Go somewhere where the women aren't like that. It's that simple. You're not going to solve the problem by inviting them onto your podcast and bitching.
Oh.
You'll make money, but that's it.
Booty cheeks are awake. Good morning.
There she is. Alright, well, guess that's it. Baby's waking up. Beef signing out.
Flower signing out.